Welcome back to Anno 2005. This is episode 8 and it's gonna be a big one. But of course, if you missed any of the previous one, don't hesitate to check in the video description below. Don't worry, it's not 7 1-hour long episode, you could catch up quite quickly. But today, indeed, we're going to have a big episode because if you remember at the end of the last episode, we settled on Wild Water Bay. This is a huge island that was completely empty and now the goal was to make it full. But before I show you that, we've also made a couple of changes on the moon. In the last episode, we had developed the fusion reactors to get infinite energy, but remember they were costing tons of money. Similarly, we had started to build and provide anti-grav compensators for people, for officers on the moon, but also for investors on the temperate region. This was costing a lot of money, so I basically deleted it all. All of the anti-grav production over here has been destroyed. Over here, the fusion reactor has been destroyed. The fusion cell production, including the mine, all of this destroyed. When I did that, I went from basically a profit of 0 to a profit of 25,000. So you can see how much it was really costing me. Despite again getting some taxes from the investors and those officers on the moon, it was definitely not enough to compensate for this crazy maintenance. But yeah, more importantly, as I said, let's go to Wild Water Bay. And here it is, you remember the before and now this is the after. We have a lot of population, there is some halls for services, but there's already quite a lot of houses. We have crossed actually the 100,000 employees across all of our regions thanks to this. And this can still grow a lot because this is mostly operators and normal workers, right? So there is potential for a lot more soon. But before we talk about this, I have actually completed the stage 1 of the spatial project for the region. You may remember that in the last episode we ended at step 3 where we needed 500 workforce. Obviously with all of the population I just showed you, 500 workforce was easy, we got it done. Then stage 4 was even more easier, it was just dragging 2 boats to this location over here. Then step 5 was having a cobalt production of +10 for 5 minutes. Cobalt is one of those mines over here, right? That was an easy one. And then the final step was to bring 50 super alloy to this location. We have, 285 over here. We can even buy from, the trader over here if needed, right? So that was easy. And therefore we finished this first stage, which gave us access to this submerged warehouse where we have an infinite production of iridium. Iridium is one of those very rare resources that you mainly get from missions, either RTS missions or missions, over here again, some of these, for example, let's see, this one is graphene, this one is also graphene, but sometimes it's iridium. And so now with this, I have a sort of unlimited, it is a slow one as you can see, but still it's unlimited. So I'm not gonna say no to it. Now, speaking of super alloy that were necessary to finish this first stage, I also sent some to upgrade my orbital spaceport, right? We moved from the global spaceport to the orbital one. So with this, I was able to transfer now resources to the moon if I needed to. We didn't get to the last level to be able to transfer energy to this region because remember that requires fusion cells and I had already deleted them. So we'll do that later, I don't really need it right now. And with that we were able to move to stage 2. The first step was easy, it was having 1000 workers for 10 minutes. I have obviously way more than that over here. Then step 2 was to deliver 75 constructor bots to the location. We did that, but now we're at step 3 and that's a bit of an harder one because it's an energy balance of 2000 in this region of Water Bay. Obviously, if we still had fusion reactors and fusion cells, maybe we could have done that quite easily. But now that we don't have that, it's a bit harder. Remember, in the temperate region, we have the wind parks and we have the tidal power stations. These tidal power stations are definitely providing a lot more, but they require a coastal building site. So let's look at my coastal building sites. Unfortunately, they are all taken by water, basically. There is not a single one that is available. There is just 2 that are taken right now already by those tidal power stations to provide me my electricity needed. And I also already have a couple of those wind farms. Sure, I could add more wind farms and we could get to 2000, but let me take this opportunity to show you something else, which is, as I just said, we're using all of these for water. And with this, I'm getting 195 of water which is only 4 above my current consumption. And remember, my population is still actually quite low because this is only level 2 operators. We move them to level 5, that's gonna be a lot more people and therefore a lot more water, which basically means I'll never be able to have enough water with this. So instead, I propose that we switch. We stop making water over here, we're gonna use the global market for water. Now don't get me wrong, it is gonna be expensive. It's gonna be more expensive than producing water over here. And this is super low, this is 200 of maintenance for 15 water. That's basically nothing. It's also very few people and very few electricity without any modules. Of course, if I put those modules over here, for example, I could get to even 0 workforce. So that's gonna be more expensive for sure. But I don't really have a choice, right? Like we already at the limit, plus this way I can use those slots for tidal power, or I can also use them for algae because we haven't even started the algae production that is required for the rejuvenators. So for sure, this is not a great idea in my opinion. So let's do this. Right now, we have 160,326 people and we're making 44,937 of profit. I'm going to delete all of those water productions. Here, done. Okay, so now I've deleted them all. As you can see, our profit have increased slightly because there's just a bit less maintenance, but we have 0 production. So now we need to go into our market and buy some water. We're gonna buy a lot of water indeed from the global market. The price is not so good. I mean, the price does fluctuate. It could be lower sometime. We will need a very big transport because we need quite a lot. I mean, you could do multiple small ones, but the problem is for your global routes, you are limited. I can only do 4, for example. So let's go for the biggest one. We don't need 500 right now though. Right now, we basically only need 200. So this is basically going to cost me almost 19,000, 300,000 for the routes, and then almost 16,000 for just the cost of the water. So we've definitely lost a lot of money. It is costing basically 15,000 more to not produce the water and just buy it at this high price. But now at least we have a lot of coastal places that are available. We can grow a lot easier and we can start getting rejuvenators. Now I was full of money again, so I decided to spend it, this time on improving my ships. We haven't really done it in the past because in this crazy veteran difficulty, as soon as I lose a single ship, in a mission, in defending my base, any of those things, it goes back to level 0. You need to upgrade it all over again, which costs a lot of money. I mean, any of those ships, to upgrade them, to 1 or 2 level usually is like 300,000 each. Plus its resources, things like iridium or other resources. So basically now I'm gonna try for them to stop dying now that I've upgrading them. Obviously they're gonna be stronger, so hopefully that will help them not die. You can bet in the comments below, how long is it gonna take for me to lose 1 ship. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, as I said, we haven't started producing rejuvenators, but we are giving enough rice, enough organic food, as well as enough vitamin drinks. The rice farm with those 4 modules, I haven't put yet any modules on this one. And then over here, my classic layout for the vitamin, right? We have on the outside, the fruit plantation. On the inside, we have the vitamin condensers. And then we have the transportation center in the middle to make sure that logistic costs are actually super low. Now, you may have realized that for all of these, I am using the accumulator unit to reduce energy maintenance. In the past, I used a lot the workforce maintenance, but for the temperate region, this is actually a mistake. Why? Because in the temperate region, the more people you have, the more profit you're making, because providing resources to your people, giving them things, having more houses is positive. It is very different in the Arctic and the Moon, where you're basically losing money the more people you have, but in the temperate region, you're making more money if you have more people. So it doesn't make sense to reduce the workforce. On the other hand, electricity is actually quite expensive. It's expensive if you want to do it with a fusion reactor on the moon, for example, or if you want to do it in the temperate region. It's not that expensive, but it's very limited, space constraint, right? Because the tidal power is going to take one of your coastal building sites, so then you don't have any left. And the wind parks is very limited because they have a range, right? So you can only put a few. So that's why I'm going, for all of these into energy reduction as much as possible. Now, another thing that we haven't talked about so far is geo-engineering. To see it is you click over here next to your map and you will see basically sort of a bonus, the attributes of this region. In this region right now, for example, I have a production rate for my vineyard that is increased by 30%. But in exchange for that, I have all my mining facilities that have an energy maintenance of plus 50%. That's what usually happens with geoengineering, is you get a positive one and a negative one. Sometimes you only get a positive one, but then they're very small. What is really cool is that you can actually change it. If you don't like these ones, you can change it. It will cost money because iridium and graphene, and this will also increase. The more you do it, the more it will increase. So do be careful about this. I will post in the comments below a link where you can see all of the traits, so you can try to see, which one you want. To be honest, they are not game breaking. It's not like, a change of plus 30% is gonna change everything. It is nice, but it's not gonna change everything. What you can do though is use this to specialize a bit some of your region. For example, in this case over here, maybe I make all of the wine that I need for all of my region here, and then I use charter routes to transfer it to the other regions, but I don't use any mines in this region. I use mines in the other region and transport here. So of course it will cost you a bit in terms of transport, but you will get this bonus sort of optimized. Now looking at the basin over here, the power that we have is production rate for the tidal power station plus 20%. Now the reality is I don't have a single tidal power station in this region right now, so it is definitely going to waste. So let's change it and see what we get. Okay, so we got sort of a similar one because now we have 30% instead of 20, but we have the desalination plant and algae that are worse. So this is terrible because I'm actually using these buildings and I'm not using this one. So let's definitely change it again. Now we have the mines that are giving me more output. This is actually pretty cool because to my previous point, I can now use this region a lot for the mine and I can use the other region for, the vineyard and then transfer between the two. So quite a bit of progress. Now that we've done that, let me do a couple of things offline. First of all, I'm gonna build a few more of those tidal power stations to get to 2000 and finish this step 3. Then second, I'm gonna build, the rejuvenators production is 200, so that's gonna cost a bit, but yeah, we should be able to do it. And then third, we also need to work on the Arctic because to get my operators to the next level, I need neuro implants that are made in the Arctic. It's not gonna be so easy. I think we're gonna need to colonize again a few more islands, maybe even another region in the Arctic. But yeah, I'm gonna do my best. Here it is, ladies and gents. As promised, a bit of time has passed, but now we're producing a lot of new things. First of all, we're producing a lot of algae, more than 300. That's perfect. And we're transforming this into thin cells, and those thin cells into a lot of rejuvenators. It's actually a lot more than what I need right now, but we know that we're gonna need more. We're gonna upgrade our population and all of this. This is happening over here in quite, compact and cool layout. You can see the trees are sort of the low space. They are not that many, right? There's a couple of trees there, a couple here and there, but that's a pretty cool one. Don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below, if you want me to post pictures of all those layouts, my Discord community or things like this. But yeah, this is the biomedical laboratory, fully upgraded with, a decrease in electricity, as I mentioned before. And then over here we have the thin cell chambers, also a pretty cool layout, as you can see, right? We just have small park in the middle in between, This one, is not finalized. I can put more, but I don't really need to. So yeah, this is one more production completely done. And of course, given to our people. If we look at all of our people, they are ready to be upgraded because we're giving them the rejuvenators, but also the new implants. So let's switch to the Arctic to see that. I still only have one region in the Arctic because this is actually the tundra. I think in one of the old episodes I said this was the Arctic, but no, this is not. This is the Arctic over here. But soon we'll need a second because if you see, now I have all 4 of the islands that are used. It doesn't mean they're full. I mean, if you look over here, this is pretty empty. This is pretty empty and pretty empty. But what it means is that I have used almost all of the mines. Right? On this one, we had used all of the mines a long time ago. Similarly on this one, we finished the mines, a while back already. Then we had started this one, and now this one is also full. You can see over here, this is full, this is full, this is full, and lastly this one is full too. And now we've started the fourth and final island, with this one being completely full, this one being completely full, and we only have one more mountain building site. The truth is I could do a bit more, because we do have a couple of mines right now that are used for electricity, like this one over here, and I could replace that by the other electricity mine in the Arctic, which is the methane, gas power station. Right, we could do that, but still, it doesn't change the fact that soon we're gonna need another region in the Arctic. The good thing though, as I said, is now we are producing a lot more of these neuro implants, actually more than 200 right now, so that we can send it to both our temperate regions. If I look over here into the trade routes, right, we have a lot of different trade routes. Some of them are going on this island over here, and this is positive +2, as you can see, and some of them are also going on this side. I think it is basically 3 to that one, 2 to this one, and this is also positive. I am for now using only the 251 that are limited to 50, because the 2001 is a lot more expensive basically, so I don't really need it right now. So I mean, basically we used to have the 3 over here, no module factory. Now we have 3 more over here. I did have to also put a few more houses everywhere to get enough workforce for all of this. And we also started a first gas power station. Pretty cool building, as you can see, requiring methane. We were already making some methane, so that's not a problem. I can do even more, but for now we don't need to. And yeah, I think, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think I upgraded a bit my fish production and those type of things, but that's about it. So yeah, we have developed the Arctic and we have made all of those rejuvenators. So now we can get to the 3rd level. The other thing we did is complete step 3 out of 7 of the 2nd stage for this region project, right? You may remember it was having 2000 of energy. So I did that basically with some tidal power stations, which I've deleted since, by the way, and replaced by a lot of algae. But if you're wondering, there is actually still some space over here for more algae farms. So now that we're getting all of our water from the world map, we definitely still have a bit of coastal places. The next one, step 4, is delivering 50 microchips. I could get the microchip from my other regions and then over here. I think we're just gonna wait a bit for when we actually make them over here to deliver them, because it's not like we really need the iridium generator right away. Thinking about it, we have 50. Let's make sure to collect it before it gets to the maximum. But yeah, let's start upgrading a couple of houses. And you may have realized what I'm gonna try to do is a bit of sort of neighborhoods or wave where you have level 1 and level 2, then level 3 and 4. Here it is, more executive. We don't need more executive, we need more investors, so we're not there yet, but we're gonna get there for sure. We can already provide, if we want, the metro stations, right? It's an easy one to fit here and there, for example here and there. That's already definitely enough. We're now in negative on power, that's not so great. So we now have obviously some new productions like the luxury food or the IntelliWare, as well as the bio-enhancer from the moon. But more importantly, first we need to fix, the basic resource like water. We need to import more rice. We need to increase all of these. We need to. The only one where we're sort of good is the rejuvenators, because we were so high there. I will do that offline so that when we start the next episode, we probably already have a lot at level 3 and we can move on to the next stage. But don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below if you have any questions, thoughts, requests. What do you want to see us focus in the future? Smash the like button and I hope to see you next time.